But unfortunately, I don't like saying it because I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to be negative or take away from anyone. I'm just quite disappointed with what I have seen. A few things have occurred, as you can tell. I'm obviously in a new location because I'm now rocking it solo. I've moved out. Yeah, it's a bit messy. As you can see, I've got light boxes, I've got books, I've got pictures that were on the wall that I need to do something with. It's all a bit of a shambles. Another thing I want to throw out, another squeaky chair. If you go down to the description of this video, you'll see a link which will take you to a download of a free program template to help you structure your training, whatever your goals may be. If you want to tickle that, click the link down below, get a free training template made by yours truly, and start making some big fat juicy saucy gains. Anyway, video, that's what we're gonna do. Hat. Oh, so many things have occurred. I'm a bit confuzzled because it's a new environment. I'm feeling a bit on edge, a bit uncertain, a bit uneasy, because obviously I'm not very good with change, but here we are, powering through nonetheless. Things we're doing today. Workout video. Obviously you would have seen the title. We're discussing Stephanie Buttermore, a bit of Meg Squats, and Holly Dolke, which is a name I've probably butchered, but it's a name I will butcher with pride and joy. Obviously before we do so, it's time for the big thing, headwear. To clarify, no, it's not my birthday, but I saw these on the line and also like, you know what, 2 of those could be quite funny. So here we are. Let's crack on with the video. And obviously, first up, a name that has popped up a fair few times, and that's Stephanie Buttermore. I'm not going to be discussing any of her nutrition-related things and her food-related things, although I am aware that a lot of her YouTube, if not most of it, is very much her eating videos, which I think is a topic for another video. Perhaps when I do a deep dive on Stephanie, I think I'll discuss it then. But for this video, I'm merely looking at the footage in question and the footage I'm seeing. And considering Stephanie's boyfriend is Jeff Nippard, I'm expecting big things. What's going on? Injury comeback, so she's obviously recovering from injury. I remember her saying she had a herniated disc. That's not very nice. Trust me, been there, done that. Squats and deadlifts. Let's have a gander. I'm expecting big things. Okay, deadlifts. A few things I want to note quickly. First of all, look at head positioning. As we can see, that's not really what I would consider to be a neutral spine. I know I've said this in so many videos, but I'm going to say it again because this may be the first video of mine you're watching, and maybe this information will be of use to you. When you're deadlifting, I would say more so with the conventional deadlift than the sumo deadlift, we don't want the head up. We want the head down, looking exactly where your spine wants you to look. The spine obviously runs from the tailbone all the way up to the neck. Therefore, a neutral spine means all of those points are going to be flat. But the neck is looking a bit wild, looking a bit overexcited. Sumo deadlift is a bit different because the torso angle is usually a bit more upright and is typically slower off the floor. I do think a lot of people do focus on like looking up when they're sumo deadlifting to try and help with that. Perhaps I could go into greater detail on that in the future, who knows. The other thing I want to talk about is how she initiates a movement. You saw from the first rep, she kind of braced quite well, shoulders back, got everything locked in, but there was a bit of a jerk motion, and the reps following that seemed quite rushed. The breathing is rushed, she's not re-bracing the core really. If she is, she did it very quickly, and she's jerky a bit. So the first one was okay, this one, a bit of a jerk. You can see the body goes from relaxed to contracted. If you look very closely at her lats, everything looked locked in there. There was no obvious shift from relaxation to contraction. Everything was contracted and tight. Now if you look at it again, in the following reps, relaxed, contracted, relaxed, contracted. Ideally, when performing a deadlift, you want everything to be locked in, tight, and contracted before you've actually initiated the movement. A common cue that's used is pulling the slack out of the bar. And what pulling the slack out of the bar means is essentially what it says. Pull the bar and create that tightness throughout the body, pulling the slack out of the bar, so then you can go from being in an already contracted position to then initiating the movement and breaking the inertia, so the weight is obviously coming off the floor. Without going from relaxation to contraction, you're maintaining contraction throughout the entire lift, so there's no like jerking. And I do think, especially with a herniated disc, due to the potential lack of tightness or loss of tightness, that could negatively impact or potentially hinder recovery. And let's have a look at a squat now. I think the head positioning is she may be looking down a bit too much. The same with the deadlift, she might be rushing the brace a little bit. In addition to that, it looks like she might be dropping a bit quickly into the hold and not necessarily losing tightness, but not maintaining a lot of tightness, if that makes sense. With a squat, I like to be a bit more controlled on the descent. I know a lot of people do like to essentially bomb it and bounce out the hole and use that kind of rebound. But for me, especially with a herniated disc, when you're recovering from injury, this is the time where I would really ensure tempo is pretty solid and the quality. Is this just broken? As if my big ass head broke this. But yeah, especially with the herniated disc, you want to ensure you're being hella controlled and hella cautious when lifting the weight, ensuring that you're going down, maintaining solid technique, way up, again, maintaining solid technique, really using this time on both the squat and the deadlift to hammer away and correct any technical hindrances that may have contributed to your injury or maybe hindering your recovery. Considering how smart and knowledgeable Stephanie is, and considering who her coach is, it's a bit, I wouldn't say shocking, but lack of a better word, shocking. I expected it to be better, to be honest. I'm gonna be straight with you, that's how I feel. Intermission, as I always do. Don't even think about timing it, Austin. I'll say 23 seconds and Austin will message me, but you're actually 23.72 recurring seconds, Harry. Try again. If you do like the video, please let me know you like the video by clicking the like button. 400 likes is the goal, so we shall bloody well smash it. Please do consider clicking the red button down below and subscribing to the channel. Perhaps even tickling the bell next to it. Yesterday we tickled the 25,000 subscriber mark when 6 months ago I was sat here, well not here, I was in a different house, I was sat in the other house messaging Austin and the other TFNL mods saying, guys, do I continue with TFNL or am I wasting my time on something that no one really cares about? Like, obviously I love TFNL, this is something I'm extremely passionate about, I love creating content, but I felt like I was creating content that wasn't serving any purpose. Words will never really do it justice, just know that I feel so privileged to have your support and I truly couldn't thank you enough. If you even click on this video and you're watching this, just thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for giving me a chance. But anyway, sorry, I'm digressing. At the end of the video, if you're unaware, I do common question of the week. So if you have a question you want me to answer at the end of the next video, drop it down below in the comment section for common question of the week and I shall do so. I do ramble and I do waffle, forgive me. But now, we'll crack on with the rest of the video. Meg Squats, someone actually we used to watch many years ago and someone I used to be a massive fan of back in the day. Again, I haven't really watched or consumed her content for years. Do you want to learn to lift like this? You'll see her head is quite upright, but she is sumo deadlifting. Weight's a bit forward, but again, she's lifting a lot of weight, so it probably is just technical breakdown due to how heavy the weight is. You see what I mean by how slow it is off the floor? Watch this. Pulling, 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 pulling. That's what? A good 2-3 seconds before it actually starts moving, she really breaks the inertia. That's very common with the sumo deadlift. Once it actually breaks off the floor, it usually accelerates quite well. It's just actually getting off the floor. So you've got to be patient with it. Lifting modifications for pregnancy. Obviously, Meg was pregnant and she did lift pretty heavy throughout her whole pregnancy period, which I think is actually quite a good thing for a lot of people. Yeah, again, I think going off comfort's a massive thing. If things start to feel uncomfortable, as your body does start to change, you do need to alter and address that. Essentially, it's a means of auto-regulation. You regulate technique, intensity, and whatever it may be, depending on how you're feeling on the day. Wider stance making room for the belly makes a lot of sense. Low bar might be more comfy. Again, makes a lot of sense. Really, honestly, really good stuff. Third rep may want to limit ROM, again, because there's going to be quite an obstruction at this point, one would assume. Therefore, limiting ROM and dropping down to a box could help maybe work around that. Same thing applies in deadlift. She can talk about going to sumo. There we go. Make a wide stance room. But again, same sort of stuff applies. Like with the squat, you go to a low bar, often adopt a wide stance. It's very much about making room for the bodily changes. You're right, she's still lifting heavy. Meg has competed in powerlifting before, and she is a very strong individual. I think she also shifted to Olympic weightlifting at some point. But no, she's still shifting some solid weights. Leg extension 21's nasty. 21s are commonly associated to like bicep curls, like 7 at the bottom half, 7 at the top half, 7 full reps. You can do them on anything, in theory, like she's doing with leg extensions. You 7 bottom half reps, like partial reps, 7 top half partial reps. This is me doing a leg extension, by the way. And then you do 7 full reps. Holly Dolke, let's have a gander after I've ruined your name. I am sorry. We're looking at a thigh burn workout, and I'm curious. Ski squat with kick side. I'm going to be straight. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm just going to be honest. That's not really great range of motion. That's not even what one would deem to be a half squat. I'm sure she's producing some great stuff elsewhere. First movement, I'm not particularly impressed. Going to be straight with you. Oh, this is better. Again, it's not a movement I would personally incorporate, but good tempo, good control. The thing you've also got to remember is lack of resistance, therefore lack of progressive overload. There's no band. That's one thing you could chuck on. Unfortunately, the ceiling to bands is quite low. You can only take band resistance so far. Then you look at free weight resistance and the ceiling is much higher, which is why I do say use some free weights or use some resistance in that form when doing like home workouts, because the room and the potential for progressive overload is much greater. And ultimately, when looking at movements and the effectiveness that a movement has the potential to be, you look at its potential for progressive overload. At no point here does it say anything about adding weight. Doing a movement like this with no weight whatsoever, so no resistance, what's it really doing? How are you going to progressively overload this movement with no resistance? That's what I kind of want to know. But I would not really ever consider many of these movements to be worthy of being placed into a home workout, especially without any additional resistance. Alright, Got a bit of clickbait coming up. We love big clickbait. Flat stomach workout, 7 minutes. So 7 minutes is applying. I'm going to get a flat stomach. The thing I don't like about this, I know I've mentioned this in like Lily Sabry's video and Chloe Ting's video. At least they incorporated a disclaimer. There's nothing like that here. It's just how this is worded implies that doing this workout for 7 minutes will give you a flat stomach. It can be a bit misleading. So it's clickbaity. So have a look at a movement that I don't think is doing a mass amount. So I would probably lean more towards like a Russian twist with resistance, because then you're bringing the obliques as well as the hip flexors and abdominal region. You're bringing in a lot of different muscles. You also see she's holding the back of her head, so it's almost like she's lifting the head up with her arms rather than really fully engaging the abdominal region to crunch. It's very much a neck movement, not an abdominal movement. When you're trying to optimize the involvement of the abs when doing like a crunch based movement, you're looking at reducing the distance from your sternum to your pelvis. Holly's not really doing that here, unfortunately. This is the kind of movement I wish was incorporated earlier on. More of this if you are looking at doing any crunch based abdominal work. Russian twist, that's better. This is something I like to see. Again, a bit disappointed that she's not including weights. With these movements, I very much like to chuck in some weights, be that dumbbell, medicine ball, whatever it may be, kettlebell. Again, something to help that progressive overload. But yeah, that's it. Those are my dives. Stephanie, gonna be honest, expected better. Meg was pushing out top tier information years ago. It's nice to see from what I've seen, the quality of information has not declined. Holly, I didn't really know what I expected because I don't really know her or her content, but I unfortunately I don't like saying it because I'm not trying to be disrespectful, I'm not trying to be negative or take away from anyone. I appreciate all these people get people into the gym and encourage people to live a healthier lifestyle. I love that. I think that's fantastic. I'm just quite disappointed with what I have seen thus far. Hopefully you tolerated the video and tolerated what I had to say. But now before I finish off, we must do very quickly comment question of the week. How do you know if you've had an effective workout? Sore muscles? No. DOMS, delayed onset of muscle soreness, has no correlation to the effectiveness of a workout. DOMS are usually due to doing something new or different, the introduction of a new stimulus. Did you lift more or do more than you did the previous week? I.e., did you progressively overload? Yes, that's an effective workout if you ask me. That's it. That is a video. Obviously, if you like the video, let me know you like the video by dropping a like on the video. 400 likes is the goal today, so if we tickle that, I'll give you a birthday hat. I would really appreciate if you did click the red button down below and subscribe to the channel, in addition to clicking the bell next to it, because I know who's not doing it. I know you know that I know who's not doing it. Confusion. I'm living in your head rent-free by popping into your recommended every day. I appreciate you even taking the time out of your day to click on my video, but if you really want to make a grown man smile, press the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And if you have a question you want me to answer at the end of the next video, drop it down below for comment question of the week. But regardless, whether you agreed or disagreed with what I had to say, thank you for clicking the video. Thank you for, hopefully, clicking the subscribe button down below. Thank you for tolerating the video.